Dial 911 was the latest thing that I just directed.
Got the script ready for Barry to do his tinkering, for lack of a better word, rewrites, adjustments, because it was about 9 years old at that point, because we tried to do it as an episode of the show back in 1990.
I just wrote this story about a girl who returns from a convention at the airport and comes home to find out that there's a serial killer loose in the town, and he's finally got his sights on her.
We shot in February and started editing in March, April. Then I threw a spanner in the works by going back and remastering Bothered, Homecoming, and Ezra Bumble for the Realm release. And the first cut of Dial 911 was finished right around August of 1999.
Pillow Talk was the funnest thing I've ever been in, but Dial 911 to me is the smoothest thing that I've ever done that had no problems, and we went from beginning to end and finished it and everything was fine.
Sometime during the summer of 99, I got a call out of the blue from Daryl Hindmarsh. And Daryl's kind of out there around and about, and we touch base every now and then. We don't get to see each other as often as we used to while we were all doing the show, but he calls me and he says, "Hey, I'm moving into my new apartment, and Sharon and I were going through some boxes, and you'll never guess what I'm watching." And I said, "What are you watching?" And he said, "I'm watching the bloopers for Bent Perspective." And I sat there for a second, and I'm like, "You're what?" Because Bent Perspective, along with Be Careful Who You Kill and Bugged, are the episodes of Twisted Realities that we could never ever remaster digitally because we thought that Barry had erased them with All in the Family. And Daryl had the tape, and I said, is it the tape? It's not a copy? He's like, "No, it's the tape," because Barry had lent it to him back in 92, right after they finished shooting. And I was ecstatic, and I said, "Well, stay right there, I'm coming out to get it." And I went and I got it, and there it was, and it hadn't been played, but I guess a few times since it was originally run in the camera, and it was in perfect shape. There was only one or two hits across the entire tape, and those weren't even major hits at all, so I brought it back to Department 13 and ran it to digital tape, backed it up, and then I archived the VHS after running Daryl a copy directly from it so he could have it and keep watching it for the rest of his life. And so really, we all owe Daryl Hindmarsh a great big thank you very much for finding that tape and having that tape and holding on to it. Otherwise, Bent Perspective would look pretty crummy.
Bent Perspective was our first Jim Townsend music episode, which is very impressive.
It's the one that I'm really fond of. It has a lot of choir in it. I love choral pieces in there, and it just seemed like it really fit really well. And it was all done live, of course. As a matter of fact, somebody even had to push the volume buttons up and switch the patches while I played, so it basically looked like two people stuck together as one person, because it took all of us just to keep hitting the pause button, hit rewind, hit record, hit the string patch, somebody play up here, somebody push up the volume down here. So it was very unorganized, but it all worked out very well.
You can really, really tell a difference in the picture quality if you've seen the original cut of any of the shows. You can tell with Pillow Talk, you can tell with Bent Perspective. You're just getting all camera original quality now, and it's a big kick for us because they've never looked or sounded so good. They're in stereo now. You finally get to enjoy Jim's soundtracks in stereo, and it's a kick to see all of our shows that looked like shit. Now they look like gold.
It's a lonely job. I get a tape, and I go home, and I'll by myself come up with the music. But it's a lot of fun. It really is, especially if it's something a lot of different themes going on. It's a lot of fun. But like I said, it's a lonely job. I don't think there's anybody else that actually works for Department 13. I just see Herbie, and that's it. No gala premieres, no.
One of the best things that I ever did was agree to be a part at the risk of sounding corny, is be a part of these guys and making a show like we do, because to me it's the most fun that I've ever had in my entire life. Because growing up, Herb would tape record things with a tape recorder, and I would do the same thing growing up as a kid. And we always wanted to, tell stories and do something in entertainment, and we're doing that now. Even though we might not be in Hollywood, we don't really want to be anyway. But I think that we get together, have a good time. We'll argue here and there about certain things, but it doesn't really mean anything because we know we're still going to keep doing the same thing as time goes by. And the best thing that ever happened to me was those guys asking me to be a part of this, Mike and Herb, because they were doing it long before I was. Me doing this has probably kept me happy through some times that I wasn't very happy in. And now that I'm totally ecstatic, it's just like gravy on top of like a turkey. It's just extra. When I'm already happy, I'm even happier doing this. So we're having the best time of our lives, and there's going to be more to come to watch. So I hope you'll watch it, and you too.